Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Damit Fonseca, the current president of PIMA UAE. On behalf of PIMA UAE, I wish to welcome all of you today, particularly the MB aspirants from both the UAE and Oman batches. I hope this special webinar will be beneficial for everyone. I would also like to welcome the panelists today with my appreciation for volunteering for this webinar in very short period of time. In fact, we plan to have this session in next month, but we got several requests from many parties and we have decided to have it early. So our CPD committee and all the panelists have agreed to conduct this session today. So lastly, I would also like to welcome all the others who are presented today, including the current executive committee and the past presidents. Well, I would like to give a brief background about the PIMA UAE also. PIMs has started the MBA program in 2007. Unfortunately, due to some unavoidable reasons, the MBA program could not progress more. However, 3 batches had graduated, and from the first batch graduation, PIMA UAE was established in year 2012. Thereafter, activities and one of the key projects that PIMA has done was recommencing the PIM degree once again in UAE. Since then, 2 batches had already graduated, and you will be the next batch will be graduating end of this year. And also, I'm very proud to inform that PIMA UAE takes full responsibility of arranging all the preliminary work in each MBA intakes on behalf of PIM. So in addition to that, PIMA UAE didn't stop by having this MBA program only in the UAE. And our previous executive committee members has taken leadership to work with PIM to have this program in other countries like Oman, Qatar, Bangladesh, and Bahrain as well. Presently, we have around 200 alumni in total who had graduated from UAE, and we have 11 EXCO members comprising the executive committee members, executive committee, and we have formed 6 subcommittees to manage activities of the PIMA. And we have planned more than 36 events throughout the year 2021 with the present health regulation and guidelines. So, and one more important point I want to inform that PIMA now operates under the flagship of legal body called Sri Lankan Professional Association, or we call it as SLPA. So SLPA has given proper legal coverage to operate in the UAE for PIMA. We are friends in the current UAE batch. We are waiting for your degree completion to get you as a permanent alumni under PIMA UAE. In the meantime, I kindly request everyone to join our subcommittees and work with PIMA from now on, so you can do it. And I have already given details of the subcommittees to your batch coordinator, Mahesh. So I think you all have got some information about these subcommittees. So I think we have to start this session soon. So I once again thank in advance all the panelists and the CPD committee for organizing this event. Let's start the session. Anjana, it's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Damit. Good evening, everyone. I'm Anjana from the PIMA UAE subcommittee for CPD. And I've got Sudarshan Mendes also with me, who's the vice president as well as the coordinator for the CPD subcommittee. So welcome, everyone. Before we, as Damit explained, this CPD session, we are specifically having it for all of you to help you with your upcoming projects and to provide guidance and share our experiences to help you out as much as possible. Before we get started, I would like all of you all to attempt this small quiz. If you all could open this particular URL on your laptop or on your mobiles, it's ahaslides.com/CPD01. When you open that, if you could let us know, have you all already decided on what type of a project you're going to do for the completion of the MBA? Whether you have decided it already or not. Can we quickly attempt that? I'll give you all a few seconds to get started with. It's www.ahaslides.com. This is the one, /CPD01. Okay, we got one response saying no. What about the others? Right, okay. Some have decided. I'll give a few more seconds just to get an idea so that we would know how to sort of structure and provide you the relevant guidelines. Right, anyone else? Okay, looks like majority have not decided yet. So I guess this is a good start. I would invite everyone else who is in this session right now to attempt and answer this question. Just going into this link, and we'll be having few questions coming up, which will be using the same link. So it will help if you could provide your interaction and interact with us, provide your feedback, so to make this fruitful. And also a quick reminder to all of you, during the session, if you have any questions, please put it on the Q&A section, which you will see at the bottom. And then we'll try to see with the panelists to answer these questions as much as possible. So let me move on to introduce the panelists who are with us today. First of all, it's my pleasure to welcome Ranil de Silva, who is from the 2015 MBA batch and also a member of the PIMA UAE alumni as well. Ranil, welcome to the session.
Hi, Anjana.
Hi. I guess to get started with, you handled the entrepreneur skills project during your MBA program. We would like you all to give an overview, introduction of the project that you did.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I've ended up doing a entrepreneurial project, which was somewhat a blue ocean idea, which came up due to the demise of my late father 10 years ago. This was a very unique proposition where I came up with this idea while I was doing the business law subject with our late Miss Dr. Vikramavira Surya. The idea was popping up, and then with the sessions going up with entrepreneurial related subjects with Dr. Travis Pereira, etc., I ended up strategizing it actually over quite a lengthy period, because I knew eventually I had to do some sort of a final project, and entrepreneurial project was one of the options we were going to get. So I had a bit of a advanced idea about when we were supposed to be doing. So that's how the idea came in, and this was basically forming up a company to assist and coordinate preparing last wills of a person. And this is a project which has been successfully running for the last 4 years, and I'm operating this in Sri Lanka. It's still operating, and I'm so happy and proud to say that this company is running and people are getting benefited from this particular business line, which I started off by making people aware of what is a last will, and then helping them out to coordinate with the relevant lawyers, etc., to finalize their last wills, so that the dependents and the remaining people from their loved ones will not have any negative impact after their ultimate demise. So I think the pandemic has given us another side of why the last will is important. And I think people who signed off was pretty much keen on having that last wills continuing. So that was my business idea, and that's how I strategized it initially when it came to me.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Ranil. Moving on, I would like to introduce our next panelist who is joining to us in this evening is Charitha Athauda. Welcome, Charitha, for the session. He is also from the 2015 batch and successfully completed his project in entrepreneurial skills as well. So Charitha, would you like to give an introduction to the project you did as well?
Hi, Anjana. Thank you very much. Well, good evening to everybody. Yes, well, this is actually at the time I was proposing my project proposal, I already had a company, which is a trading company. Then we found out that we have a vacuum of, having another trading to support the trading company, to have a technical trading company, a technical license basically. So to support, to do DIY, handyman services, and as well as, started with with handyman services and stuff. But then, we actually grown up to, manufacturing as well as then proper service provider for, supplying services to residential as well as commercial. So this is how I'm also proud to say that it's up and running for almost like now 4.5 years now, 4 years now, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, this is the project that I have done.
Let's go into detail when we are going through the entrepreneurial detailed project, and then let's share your experience with the team in detail. Yeah, thank you, Charitha.
Thank you, Anjana.
Yeah. Next, I would like to welcome Amila Kumarage, who is joining us again from 2015 batch, who completed a project on management skills area. Welcome to the session, Amila.
Thanks, Anjana.
And
good evening, everyone.
Yes,
actually, I
could...
had.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I had, I think, I was the most privileged one, I think, from our batch when it comes to the management skill projects, because I think I was the only one who did this kind of project. I think this project's actually primarily all about our company. Like, we are a large group of companies, and am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. We are a large group of companies, but the group was not really structured in terms of corporate structure. So I was instrumental in designing and proposing a structure under this my project. So we, of course, in this kind of projects, we need to have a lot of support from the organization. And again, I want to say that this is the easiest project if you really see, but if you have support from the company, if you have influence in the organization that you have to execute the project, then it's all about everything is under you. So you can implement, you can execute, and you can prove yourself to the organization as well as to the, you can thrive to the next level if you really do your project properly. So I had the opportunity of doing a corporate restructuring of a large family business, wherein we were able to bring a very strong structure for the group. And I was dealing with all kind of organizations in this country, like be it financial institutions or legal authorities, and then especially stock exchange, both Abu Dhabi stock exchange, different stock exchange, and land departments. And then you get to experience a lot of hands-on experience on different aspects, as well as you learn a lot when you do this kind of projects. But again, it's a lot of commitment is required, and a lot of support is required. I want to emphasize that, if you are not in a organization where you don't really have a support, then it's a challenge. Otherwise, if you have a management support, yes, this kind of projects, like especially a management skill project, it's much easier. And you can elevate your career as well. I mean, you will have you can prove, as I told you earlier as well, like that yes, I am doing MBA and there is output and there is improvement in my career with the MBA. So that's a good advantage for you to take up this kind of projects. And
Right.
yeah, we can share the more details, I think, in the
Yes.
session. Yes.
Thank you, Amila.
Thanks.
Next, I would like to welcome Siraj Mohamed, another alumnus from the 2017 batch. Welcome, Siraj, to the session. Siraj also has completed his project in management skills. Siraj, why don't you give us a brief of what was your project about?
Yeah. Thank you, Anjana. Good evening to everyone. This is the skill projects which I did for my organizations. So I work for Edisala, and so I am working in the payment service domain of payment collections. So where sorry, I already.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. And so Edisala had the dedicated team which called the collection teams, which is they deal with the very big customers like enterprise and government customers for the collections, for the monthly collection of the extra services offered to them. And where so the process, it's like this is more into very digitizations strategies. So where this process is like a very manual driven and semi-auto, like there's a lot of issues handling this payment, collecting the payment, and giving back to this credit to customers' accounts. It was taking about averagely 6 to 7 days to realize this, to complete the whole process. So where I found these opportunities, I found it so where we can do some improvement there to reduce this the processing cycle of this payment to at least to bring it to very minimal 2 days or 1 day within days. So this is the opportunity I found, and so I approach the respective teams. They are very happy about it because of the skill project of the good side of it. It's the implementation part. Actually, you have to implement, you have to show the results with the evidence. So this with the full support. So I had the opportunity to take full control of this project to execute myself, because I was leading this project and I could be able to do it very successfully and implement it within the given time.
Excellent. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Siraj. Next, our next panelist is Mr. Ravindra Subasinghe, who is from the 2017 batch, who has completed his project in management field project. Welcome to the session, Ravindra.
Thank you, Anjana.
Yes, if you could introduce your project as well to the team.
Good evening, everyone. So far, I hope everyone already adapted to the current pandemic situation and keeping yourselves safe and healthy. My role is basically I handle employee relation, where I work as a human resource consultant. In short, I can say that my job is like involves from arrival of an employee until they leave the organization. So here, when I started the MBA, my role is very clear what I was doing it, and I had already problem in my organization, which is like employee turnover, which is our operations level employees, managers and crew. They keep leaving the organization. Some, they say different reasons, family issues and all. But everyone, even our top management, knew something is wrong. Something is not going right. So they needed someone to fix the root cause. So initially I was finding out what is the issue, why they are leaving. Finally, I came to know that they're leaving. The reason for leaving is for just small increase of salary. So they are finding a lot of better opportunities because as you know that I work for McDonald's UAE. So our company provides lots of training for our people. We invest a lot of investment on training. So any outsider, anybody who wants to open a new company, they try to headhunt our people because they are very well trained and they know the standard procedures and all. So to work on this employee turnover, you have to find a way. How do you do that instead of increasing the salary? Because if you think about increasing 100 dirham for 5,000 employees, it costs a lot. So what we thought about is like we had this rewards and recognition program ongoing. and at the same time career development as well. So I identified what to work on, already implemented this program, but it was not running very well because it was not giving a greater impact on the employees' expectations. So what we did is, what I thought about is like revamp this program and add some value to the program, which create greater value, greater impact towards the organization, where we can reduce the employee turnover, as well as while reducing the employee turnover, we can improve our profit of the company. So whatever you do, you have to make sure that bottom line is impacted. So the management was so happy with the project, even though it was a failed project. They approved, and it is already implemented.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ravindra, for that introduction. Next, I would like to welcome Ms. Samantha Sudurikku to this session. She's from the 2017 batch who completed the case study project as a project in completion of the MBA. But today she's going to share details on a different mission, because she's the coordinator for Journal Publishing and Academic Affairs Subcommittee from PIMA UAE. Samantha, welcome to the session.
Thank you, Anjana. Good evening.
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah. Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Good. Good evening, everyone. Glad to be part of this session. So I was told that the current batches do not have a management case study as an option for the project. So my role here as journal publishing, just to give you an overview, is to promote academic writing skills of the alumnus of PIMA UAE and other skilled writers, other professionals, and to engage with them to enhance the knowledge of the fraternity. And we also collaborate and engage with policymakers in Sri Lanka and provide our inputs as a professional organization as and when we see appropriate on topics of interest at the moment to Sri Lanka. Today, of course, my role is to give you some tips on formatting and referencing ahead of your project proposal submission. So we have prepared some guidelines and tips for all of you, and hopefully it will be helpful. Over to you, Anjana.
Thank you so much, Samantha. So welcome again to all the panelists, and I hope the participants from our MBA batches got a fair idea the different types of projects that our team has handled. Next, let's go into detail of each of these three types of the projects to give you a detailed insight as to the precautions and considerations if you are to pick one of these type of projects as your MBA project fulfillment. First, let's get started with Entrepreneurial Skills Project, which Ranil and Charitha will take you all through some of the details. I guess I'll first pose the question to you, Ranil. When it comes to the selection, Entrepreneurial Skills Project, the rationale, the core structure of the project proposal, will you be able to take our team through some of the details? I think you can share your presentation.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing. Yes.
Thank you, Anjana. And I think that's the introduction which I wanted. And then I think what I will do is take you through the basic structure of your immediate target of the project proposal submission. If I remember, for the UAE current batch, the deadline is 31st March, which is just a month away. And then we will work together on how the PIMA UAE is going to be supporting you throughout your journey of the entrepreneurial skills project. And I know that from your batch representatives that there are at least 3-4 potential students who are willing to take up an entrepreneurial skills project, which means that effectively you are going to do your own business and eventually deliver a company and its results to get your final project submission as a final project. So in order to do that, one of the first things you need is basically selection of the particular business idea, your business opportunity. Selecting that is the most important aspect of a entrepreneurial skills project. So you have basically two options. One is to go with the flow, which is the red ocean strategy, which is not really a commonly used thing, because you would have already heard about the blue ocean strategy. And I already said that my particular project was something similar to a blue ocean type of a project, because it's not heard of. And I'm so proud to say that it is still the only company in Sri Lanka who associates with promoting, in assisting and coordinating the last wills. And that came to me because of because of a triggering event in my life when my father left with his business and some estate, which was not allocated to the children. The children did not have a dispute. However, I am left with a brother who is mentally handicapped. So obviously, to protect his interest, when we went through, we had to go through a last will and a testimonial case eventually to overcome the situation. So if he had done a last will himself, that would have been a much simpler execution process. So that's the thing which you need to remember, whether it's a service like what Charitha has been doing, whether it's a unique selling option or a product option or whatever it is, you got to come up with that business idea with a very passionate, positive frame of mind that, look, I am going to deliver this project and show that this is going to be my final entrepreneurial project. And that's a commitment you must have right now. If you haven't decided, I think some of you have already got an idea. You got to start working on it right now. So we are going to discuss through some core areas and some core protocols on what you need to be doing in the right time at the right way, so that we will be able to basically go through this journey in a more efficient and an effective manner. So select your business idea. The opportunity is the number one. And then basically, when it comes to the skills project, the first thing you need to do is to explain, briefly describe the idea leading into this project, to identify the customer needs that you are trying to satisfy, or the market gap if there is anything, or if it is a blue ocean type of a thing, what it means to the general population. And why do you think that this is a business idea leading to this project? Secondly, you got to decide and put down your case. So say, for example, in my case, I can't technically promote last wills, because that is basically reminding a person, you're going to die, you're going to die. That's not something really workable and marketable, right? So in which case I had to come up with some innovative ways of how could I even promote this as a business. So in order to do that, you got to come up with a business case strategy, so that all your knowledge on your marketing skills, your organization skills, your entrepreneurial skills, your financial skills, and all of that, whatever you learn throughout all your modules, will now come into play in a combined, consolidated manner. And then you are basically coming up with a very brief business case saying, this is what I want to be doing in order to deliver as a final project. So this is not your final project itself, but this is what you are saying that I'm going to be doing as my final project. That is what is meant by the final project's proposal. So people don't get confused. The proposal is a brief. You're supposed to do a 20, 30 word document. It's if I remember, I think the document, as per the PIM guidelines, which Samantha will be touching base later on, you must be now having access to this PIM presentation guidelines 6th edition. And the presentation of the project proposal structure is explained in page 68 to page 70. These 3 pages, you must go through it letter by letter. I know you have submitted numerous amount of group studies and group assignments and individual assignments as per the presentation guidelines by now, even without referring to it much details. However, this one, you can't miss a letter. You cannot miss a trick here, because if you miss a trick here, you're going to lose marks on your final project. If you're determined that you're going to get an A+, which I was determined, you need to be watching exactly how to do this write up in the way it is designed, or in the way it is expected to be. Let me put it that way. It's not the way you like to put it, it's the way it is expected to be delivered by the faculty, and you must adhere to it. So if you're when you explain your brief business case, you got to do a bit of a brief marketing, product, financial feasibility study. Now, this is an overall idea of what you think your business idea is and what you think your marketing strategy is going to be on your product and how you're going to contemplate it. So you're basically contemplating the business idea so that the faculty supervisors will sign off saying, yes, so and so student, your final project is accepted. Now your objective here today is to get your project proposal accepted, not to deliver the project. But on an entrepreneurial skills project, you must be determined in a way that you are going to get that tick and you are continuing that effort for the next 6 to 9 months, because entrepreneurial skills project, there is no fallback option. Either you pass or fail in that project. That's how that's how you end up doing it, because you got quite a lot of challenges coming up in executing it, because this is a business of your own. So the advantage, or if I want to promote you for this entrepreneurial skills project, the advantage is whatever you do in this project is completely under your own control. It is 100% controlled by the student. When you know the guidelines, when you know your expectation to deliver the final printed version of the document, you know that is your ultimate project. But to get there, every step you need to do is completely under your control and you know how to do it. It does not depend on somebody else's, say for example, ability to say that, oh, I am signing up to disclose my information, or I am allowing you to implement your proposal or anything like that. You are not relying on any third party in that sense. You will get to engage with third parties because obviously your marketing case and your accounting situation or incorporating the entity, etc. Yes, you will work through independent third parties. However, your control on the project is still with you 100%. So this is why actually an entrepreneurial skills project is beneficial for someone who is determined to deliver it in that way. Developing the strategy canvas is something you will go through with Dr. AKL when he comes to something called the integrated course in management very soon. When you guys finish off your business analytics, I think the next subject will be something called the integrated project management, the module, where all your knowledge, whatever you gain throughout your previous 18, 20, whatever the number of courses you did, will be put into something called the strategy canvas, and eventually you will come up with this one-page document which will be your project in that sense. It's like a synopsis, in an executive summary, the extract of whatever the case you are putting through. And that's something you must try and develop, and it has to be a part of your proposal at the end, that one page. Then there's something called developing the work breakdown structure. Now, work breakdown structure is something which is very simple, but you got to come up with a fundamental in principle manner in which how you are allocating your resources. It's a very simple thing. When you launch a entrepreneurial project, you need resources. Whether it's a manufacturing organization, whether it's a selling organization, whether it's a service organization, you still need resources for that. And how you're going to find your resources and how you're going to allocate them and source it is all what you put down in this document form, where the work breakdown, WBS we call it, is being designed. And the next piece of information you need to have is give the cost estimates. So your incorporation cost, your pre-marketing cost, your initial setup cost, if you need some sort of a plant, office, factory, kitchen, whatever it is, you will have, including stationery, including whatever the rubber stamp for the organization, whatever it is, you have to have your cost estimations for implementation stage of the organization. It is not the running cost. Running cost, you will have an estimation on a projected cash flow level. The implementation costs needs to be estimated in a slightly detailed manner for the project proposal stage. The next piece of information you need to have is to get the project's outputs and the outcomes. And by now as MBA aspirants, you know the difference between the outputs and the outcomes. I'm sure you guys have done this IR2 recommendation system for Professor Dharmasiri in some of your assignments, etc. So you know the output and the outcome. So for your project, which is the skills project, the company you're going to incorporate, You need to come up with that output and the ultimate outcome you are expecting within 6 months and beyond. Now, I mentioned the 6 months because at the end, when you select this particular project after the proposal is being signed off, you will have to eventually demonstrate that your company was incorporated, successfully ran for 6 consecutive months following incorporation, and show the results, the actual versus your projection. Whether the actual was 100 times lower or 100 times higher, it does not matter. You still have to show your actual results in a way it is certified and acceptable, meaning that an auditor needs to certify it, somebody with the professional qualification needs to certify that these numbers make sense or something like that. Otherwise, your final project acceptance for your graduation will not be ticked off at the final viva level. So we will go there again. I will continue to go back and forth in between these things and giving the time frame to initiate run the project. So you will probably, depending on your type of project, you may need more time on your project setting up, or sometimes the project setting up is so easy and short, in a month you can finish it and go and launch it. Like say for example, in Sri Lanka, if you want to incorporate a company, name approval takes 24 hours, online, done. Then what you do is getting the company incorporated. All you need is about 48 hours and you can have your trade license, the certificate of registration in the ROC, registration of registrar of companies. You can do that within about a week maximum. I mean, I actually took 3 days off, went and incorporated my company and came back. So that's how fast and efficiently you can set it up once you have done the strategizing and all that. But this is the time frame to initiate and run the project. So you're basically planning your project pre-incorporation, incorporation, and post-incorporation timeline. And then state how you will comply with the business registration, follow up with Genesis. Now, is this word something you haven't heard before? I think that's going to be something for you to be married with in terms of entrepreneurial skills project students. PIM has something called Genesis. Now, there is good news and bad news. PIM Genesis is in physically in the faculty in Colombo. Now, PIM Genesis is a place where they support and coordinate and assist the entrepreneurial skills project students to complete their work under the supervision of Dr. Travis Pereira and Dr. Gayan Jayakodi. They are running that as a sub sort of a affiliated independent group, which is again run by a couple of alumni and a couple of current students. Now, you are unfortunately not able to access this directly. However, there's a good news which I will explain a little later in a follow-up session which I will have on how the Genesis can be incorporated with you or integrated with you or engaged with you going forward for the few students who are taking up this project. You have to provide the actual P&L and you have to run the business for at least 3 months. So you got to show your live sessions for live results for 3 months. So your pre-incorporation and your post-incorporation minimum 3 months, you have to show the results. So now we had to show 6 months. That's why my 6 months name came. But however, you're talking about 6 months. So you got to showcase, ensure that your project, what you incorporated, the company you incorporated was able to survive 3 more subsequent months and continued and show the results. When you say show the results, it's not that putting a spreadsheet and say this is my income, this is my cost, and this is my net income, and this was my cash flow. No, it has to be recorded in an appropriate manner and certified by a auditor in that sense.
Right.
So for the details, very quickly, Anjana, in this particular thing, so online submission on the project proposal time, you got to get the numbers 1, 2, 3 as much as detailed and addressed. That is what your requirement is going to be as of 31st March. So point numbers 1, 2, and 3 here are the most important things, and I'm happy to share this slide for the students who are who are able to access this information. And then the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 will be followed in sequence until you come up with the final project proposal. And if I may remove my stop share document and show you, I don't think you can see because of my the page document. It's not visible because of the virtual background. See, come up with the final result of your final project proposal. So that's where the core structure of how you end up coming up with the project proposal and basically putting yourself planted for an entrepreneurial final project.
Thank you, Ranil. Yes, I think that was very comprehensive. The participants must be able to get some detailed insight how much you need to plan when it comes to the entrepreneur skills project. I would like to post a question to Charitha, again on the entrepreneurial project side. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of details and a lot of pre-planning that you need to do if you're selecting this project type. Why don't you touch on, like, and share with us what sort of challenges did you all face and how did you manage it, Charitha?
Anjana, again, look, I have now, Ranil has given, comprehensive idea about, entire, how you do the proposal. Now, at the end, you have the strategy canvas and cost estimations and everything. And then the challenges you will see, the first thing, I think, the finance, we'll take it like a financial feasibility analysis you do, but then your challenges are like, first main two, I can say two challenges are financial challenges and process challenges. Then if you start with the financial challenges, then a lot of people do this mistake. Even I have done that. We do a cost estimation, but at the time of the beginning of the project, you think of, okay, let's generate some revenue, and I will use that revenue to run the show, run the company, which is a cardinal error. I mean, I would rather say when you have the financial feasibility test and this thing, estimation, you must be having your entire project, like at least to start and run for a few months, that amount of money in your hand. That is actually the biggest challenge you will have. So as Ranil has mentioned that in Sri Lanka it takes about a week to start a company, register a company and run it. But in Dubai, if you start in Dubai or even for that matter in Oman, because we have some businesses in Oman, so I know in Oman. So basically it takes about 5 to 6 days to complete your entire business registration, whether it is in DED or it is in offshore company or it's a any other registration, wherever you are going to register. So basically you need to have the entire at least to say like 80% or 70 to 80% of money in your hand to run your company. So you have a costs of for the trade license, which is I'm sure you must be knowing if you are having the ideas of to start a company in the UAE. So then you have, if it's a LLC company, you have your sponsors. Those are challenges again. Then you have to start. You have to look at have a piece of real estate that you need to show the when the PIM comes. You need to show your contract, and then you have to show that you have a head office that you are running, and probably to run a company, of course, you have other things like vehicles and insurances, machineries, equipments. If you are manufacturing, then you need to buy your first raw material. And if you are a shop, it's just a trading company, you need to have your stocks, or maybe you have to have your trade alliances with the trading companies who are going to support you. You need to have your trade agreements in place. So things like that. And most importantly, this a challenge I also had, that costs of initial hiring for HR basically. You need to hire people. So unlike in Sri Lanka, you need to spend money to first of all hire people. In the sense, you need to give them visas. You need to give them probably other facilities, accommodations, and stuff like that. And don't forget that this is not for 6 months. This is going to be like probably your first project, first entrepreneurial project, or maybe first business that you are running in others. Yeah. So the company, whoever joining the company is going to, you are going to give at least a minimum 2 years visa. So costs of 2 years visa, and you need, I mean, if it is a manufacturing, I don't have to explain, but the amount of people you need, or maybe it's a trading company. If it is a if it is a service providing company, then you need to have enough people to run the show. So you need to initially you need to talk to them, and then you have to get them on board, and of course you need to pay for their the premium for their visa. So don't forget, when you do a strategy canvas cost estimates, don't forget to input these costs. I made mistakes. That's what I'm telling you, that I made mistakes and I struggled. Luckily, I had another company which is running, and I pulled some funds out from there. So somehow I managed. So these are the financial challenges you may have, and as I told you, don't depend on the revenue that you're going to generate and then and show it and run the show. So yeah, and if you go to the process issues, well, processes, process issues start when the time you start think of having a ESP. The reason is you're going to spend a lot of time, and you might be having a good work in an office project. I mean, you're maybe you're planning to have this as a side business, or maybe you are planning to completely get out from where you are working now and spend your entire time in this. So processes, yes, this is going to be difficult, and because first you have to also get your approvals from the home, so your home department. So basically that's one thing. And then registration, as I told you, it's quick. 5-6 days time you can completely get your registration done in the UAE. But actually you need to have this registration within this period of time. That is another important fact, that you cannot have an old company and show them that, yeah, I have I had a company. So so you need to have your strategy canvas in place, and then you have to have your registration within this time period. If it is not going to be within the time period, then you may have to I mean, if you are going to put your name into an old company, and we can discuss actually in lengthy this thing, actually, yeah, but I will tell you that you make sure that if it's a then if you are going to put your name into old company or something, then you need to have complete more shares and more more management side of affairs from your side. So then only PIMA will accept that you are running the show, you are running the company. So then also you will have problems when you are issues or challenges to find which local sponsor you go ahead with. And if it is an LLC company, then, and well, it's I mean, I did not have this trouble, I think, VAT. So probably it's not an issue when you can start without VAT, but then after 3 months, if your business is having a certain threshold, then you need to go for VAT registration also in the project. And so you have to have provision for that VAT registration basically, and then VAT, obviously you have the auditing audit report required here. So keep eye on this VAT thing, because initially you don't require it, but yes, and when your process progresses, you need progress in the when time comes, you have that. And then HR matters, I told you, and I'll quickly go through again. You have to not only the costs that, when you hire somebody, most of these people are not fresh people, or maybe you're hiring somebody from, from UAE, wherever, they are maybe now working. So they have a period, they have to inform their existing employer before they join you. So there are time periods, so consider these all facts that, otherwise you are also ending up, a lot of troubles. You will not be able to hire people in time because you're running the show for 6 months, I don't know, 3 months, plus you are processing a 3 months thing. So keep that in your mind as well. So yeah, again, Ranil told you, don't forget to the different difficulties are for like P&Ls and 3 months P&Ls in balance sheets. You need to keep everything, because this project you cannot write in the last moment. Yes, I have done this, and then you cannot made up anything. It cannot be a made up story. You have to be, it's a practical thing. You have to be there, and you have to record everything, and you have to upload also in time. These all are challenges, actually, I would say. Thank you, Anjana.
Thank you, Charitha. I think listening to both of you sort of makes me get the feeling that this is a project that you have to really showcase that you are an MBA, not that you are going to have an MBA. So you need to really put into practice the pre-planning to post-planning, and then sort of vision and putting your business together. Thank you so much. I know we were crunched for time, but I believe that you gave a quite decent insight into the challenges, and also what you should be keeping in mind if you're selecting your project to be an entrepreneur skills project. Let's quickly move on to the next project type, which is a management skills project, which was our panelists Amila and Siraj have completed. I would like Amila to question to Amila, what kind of a project falls under this criteria, Amila?
Thank you. Good evening again. First of all, I want to tell you, you need to refer the presentation guideline book, page number 59 to 66. It's very clearly guiding you how to select a project. That's like, you at least read once or twice. That's more important. And the project category, especially, you need to identify a significant issue in a company where you work. Like it could be corporate governance issue. It could be issues related to human resource management or performance management that will enhance the company profitability or efficiency. So when you select, especially, you have to see what is your contribution in this particular project and this assignment, because it is going to be your assignment. It is like, that you are going to lead, and you should have a scope to write. Now, on leaving these asides, you need to have a management support. As I told you earlier also, like when you select, like for example, if it is an inventory management issue, the issue has to be a significant issue that relate to the organization where you work, and you have a support from the financial support from the organization, because you have a certain cost elements, and you should be able to show that yes, this cost element is there, but the cost element can be recovered once you implement the project. And you ultimately, once you start writing, you have to have the ample scope and theoretical backgrounds you need to bring into the project, and whatever you learn over the last 2 years, and you need to showcase yourself application of all the theories and related to the particular part of the project. And then ultimately it has to certify by the company that yes, you have done this kind of project, and it is been accepted by management, and you have to give a letter. So you always bear in mind that when you do a particular project, yes, skill project is much of the easiest project when you compare to all other projects, but you have to have a place in an organization where you can influence in any segment. Otherwise, if you are playing a small role in, like, I'm not saying that, like everybody will not have access. Yes, everybody will have a significant role. But when you come to identifying a skill project, you need to, that's why I'm trying to emphasize, it has to be a significant issue. Like for example, in my case, if I explain a bit, like we had a corporate structural issue, restructuring issue. We are a like number of businesses. We have different verticals, but those are not interrelated. So what we did actually, we brought them under one umbrella, and we created the corporate structure, and structure was created in such a way that all the businesses are consolidated under one umbrella. So likewise, you have to have a full scope, or I would say it's a large scope that will elevate the organization, and you also will have a scope to write. That's more important. And again, like if you say inventory management, yes, it is a significant issue, but what you would do, or it is like, for example, construction project management, or anything related to a construction, or anything related to manpower, like, the performance management. Yes, you have studied so much on the human resource side. Yes, you can write, but can I really implement? Can I really have a support from the organization? Will they be helping me, or will your boss or the departmental heads will support you? So these things are the matters that you need to consider, because end of the day, you need to implement this project with the support of your organization. So that's more important when you come to management skill projects. So otherwise, I always encourage all of you to think about it. It's much easier compared to anything else. But again, there are certain criteria compared to what we have been doing in 2015. I think they have changed slightly, like minimum number of employees are required. And I think the minimum turnover, I don't think it's an issue in here, because minimum turnover, I think it's 500,000, what is been mentioned in the presentation guideline. I think it's 500,000 rupees. It's not a major challenge in this country. But again, I'm trying to emphasize, yes, you have to have a significant role in the organization where you work. Then, yes, you will definitely be able to take not only a pass, you can take A grade or A plus easily. And your commitment is very important, because end of the day, you are trying to do something for yourself, because it will definitely take you to the next level in the organization and even the MBA. So I think if you have anything in terms of understanding on the management skill projects, yes, we can help you out on overall presentation. Anjana, should I take them through on my proposal?
Yes, if you can briefly touch on that, that'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just quickly take you through, but I need to share the screen, right?
Right. Okay. I'll stop sharing. Yes.
Can you see that? Is it
Yes,
possible?
it's loaded. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly go through the way it is done. Like, you have to give a quick brief introduction of the organization here. Like, I have, this is simply, I'm taking you through my presentation. So I have given the full background of the organization, what is it and what are we into. And then again, you will have to give a brief organization structure and general tasks and environment and the organization revenue and all sort of information. Like, briefly, what organization are you are working, and what kind of products and what kind of verticals you are in, what is your turnover, balance sheet, like, as much as information that you can share, like, for certain period of time. Then what is your role, especially in here? When I was working on that assignment, I think I was a group finance manager, and then I was working under the CFO that time. Now, when you come to giving the major issue is like, you need to identify the issues. Now, to identify the issues, you need to like analyze current situation, and then you need to bring the technical knowledge, like theoretical background here. Perhaps it could be a gap analysis or SWOT analysis, and you will have to do a certain technical analysis here, and then you have to identify the issue. Then in my case, what I have done a SWOT analysis, and then like strengths, weaknesses, and how it became such an important issue in my organization. So that I have to emphasize. And because end of the day, I need to convince to the PMI, especially Dr. Ekale. So he will he will go through A to C, especially in this stage of the especially on proposal stage, because once you fix your proposal, I think everything is fixed. So that it's simply a matter of implementing the project and writing and showcasing yourself how you have executed the project over the period of time. So if you identify, now if I'm coming back to the same thing, current situation analysis, where you have to bring your theoretical knowledge and identify the significance of the issue, and you showcase to the PIMA that yes, it is a significant issue in the organization, and then of course you will always have to get the understanding from your organization as well that yes, it is a significant issue here. Now thereafter, the current situation analysis, you have to bring it, like, then in my case, what I have done, like, I have identified the corporate restructuring as a major issue. So there I have done certain, like, structural issues, why it has become such an important issue in the organization, what is the reason for bringing it to this kind of corporate structure in the organization, and what kind of value addition and what kind of the benefit as an organization, what all we will bring, and that has to be highlighted. So this is what I have done. Then you have to give a brief introduction about your project. They are like, what is the project and what you are going to brief introduction, what is the project and how we are going to fill the gaps, the identify issues, how we are going to address. Now there you will have to identify, again, I'm trying to emphasize, if it is not a significant issue, here you will get stuck because you will not have anything to write. So that's why even if you have a theoretical backgrounds, when you come to an issue, the issue has to be a significant because you have to write at least, if I'm not mistaken, it's something around 2,000 words. So I think in my case, I think I wrote around 110 or 140 pages. But again, I think at least 100 pages it should for, I think, when you complete the project. So in this case, in the brief introduction of the project, like, here you have to identify what is your project, and there you will have to give the solution when you are going, what is the solution that you are going to give. Now when you come to the objectives, now the project has objective. Now implementing this project, like, again, when you identify the issue, now why you are handling this kind of significant issue, and to give solution to what. So here you, like, what is the primary objective of doing the project, give solution to what. So then you have primary objective and then sub objectives that you have to bring down. So there you have identified a primary objective. In my case, I have consolidated all the business units under the holding company and bring complete business under one umbrella. So this is what in my project, what I have done. Then again, when you have to do a study framework, this is a must that you have to do a study framework, how you come to the ultimate outcome through this framework. Now, in my case, to bring this holding all the business units under the one umbrella, I have to do how many tasks, what tasks I have to bring the final outcome. There we have to do, in my case, what I have identified: legal structure, resource allocation, ownership structure, assets and liabilities, and ultimately we are going to create a corporate structure. So this is what I have identified in my assignment. Then we'll give the project brief description of the project components. Now, project components, they are actually, if you really see in bullet points, you identify what is your assignment, what is your complete project. There you have, like, each and every element of the your project report. There you have, like, project component 1, current situation analysis. Likewise, you have one after other element of the projects. Like, it can go down to a significant number of pages because that you are going to write. Now here in my case, current situation analysis that I told you, and then identify the team, because in my case, like, we have identified there are external parties, internal parties. I'm trying to do it fast as much as possible, Anjana, and just to, it's not much anyway. And right. Project components, project components, like, you'll give, because end of the day you have to write based on this. This is your completely structure of your project. So project components and project component 2, identify the team and allocation, and then again evaluate the legal situation, current situation analysis. There you will evaluate different legal situations, and then the establishing the new group structure. What is the structure? And then identify the assets and liabilities. This is there you have to, like, when you give one by one, these are the different sections, different elements of the project that you have to write. Then the project transferring assets and liabilities, and allocation of the resources, and then you bring the techniques what you applied, like, project Gantt charts, SWOT analysis, brainstorming sessions, and there are different different theories what is being applicable for this kind of, especially corporate restructuring projects. So it's all depend on what you do, and if you select a good project, yes, you can easily. I'm trying to finish it off fast. I know that we are short of time, and then ultimately what I want to emphasize, that you have to show what benefit you have got from this to the organization, because that has to be endorsed by the organization. Somebody can see that, yes, I'm trying to do something, but it is hypothetical. No, it is not hypothetical. It has to be a real issue, a significant issue that you have to showcase that to the PIMA as well as to your organization. Your organization has to endorse, yes, he has identified this issue, he has done this issue, sorted out this issue, and there will be a letter that will be issued by a company saying that, yes, he has done so and so work to the organization that elevated the organization. That is achievement for you as an employee in the organization, as well as achievement for you in your MBA. So I think if you need further information, yes, I'm more than happy to help you out, understand something. And thank you very much. Over to you, Anjana. I'm sorry if I have taken wrong
Thank
time.
you, Amila. No, I think that was very important to highlight, like, when you're deciding on a skills project, what you should be mindful of, and the way through, like, getting the relevant documentation and approvals in place. I think that was very insightful. I hope our participants also found it useful for them. I would like to pose the next question to Siraj again on the management skills project area. Like, what were the challenges that you faced when you were executing your project?
Yeah, thank you, Anjana. Good evening to everyone again. Yeah, the challenges, the main challenges in the skill project is the implementation part, where the most of the time, because if you take a project, the skill project, so you'll have the stages like the initial requirement gathering and the design part, and that finally the implementation part is the challenge part, where the many stakeholders will be involved to execute the project. So if you are in good position to overtake the major role of these projects, so you got through. I mean, you will not have much challenges. So you can execute your projects without any issues. But say that also it's advisable when you select the skill projects, make sure that you are doing the project within your organization, the process, because every organization will have their own process to implement the project. So you have to adapt to that process, so that it's easy to execute and bring the other stakeholders who are involved in these projects, where we need that support and assistance or resource supports it's required. So it's easy to take it from the other teams. So that's the main things. The challenge, other challenge, we can say that the skill project is all about, finally you have to show the output. So you have to quantify your output. To the final viva, you have to quantify it with the proper evidence. So when you select the skill projects, you have to make sure that you are in a well positions to take some data. You can present your output in a well approved and well manner. So this is another challenge I face because of because it was little challenge to prepare the data, because of so you have to be very careful, because of sometimes it will be a sensitive data to your organization. So you cannot show everything to the presentations. So you have to take it which is in acceptable way to take the data and so that you are the final output. And other thing is when you say, now this is we are in the pandemic time, so I think we might get a lot of opportunities to look into that, the online or the digitizations, the process, each organization. So you can look at your organizations and you can choose a proper the skill project, because as Amila said, the skill project is a much easiest one compared to others. But if you are properly planned and if you are able to do it, you take the full control of the project, you can execute, then it's much easier, because of you don't need to spend or put extra effort, to depend on others, because of it's part of your working environment, is part of your daily work. So you will be executing the project in a very smoothly. And other thing is, now when you identify the problem, because you have to first you have to show that there's some key issues in your organizations. So you have to first, because of the other challenge I had is the writing the report, mainly because I have done the projects well. I have well and good done the complete the projects. I have the output well and good. I achieved more than 100%, which the final output. But the problem is, when you write the reports, you have to take this thing to the study framework. This is the challenge I had. And so finally I started my skill project as a business process improvement, but it is get narrowed down by the supervisor. Mr. Samantha has helped me a lot. So we narrowed down the things to bring to the process cycle improvement. So we narrowed down things. So that's well. So the main thing is you have to find your study framework. So that's, you have to do the cause and effect analysis. So you just find the problem, key problem, or 4 or 5 problem of that you are going to implement, and you do the cause and effect analysis first. So the chapter 5 is the cause and effect analysis. So when you do the cause and effect analysis, you will it will throw out the study framework, the elements. So this is the way we have to do a little backward, that bottom to top approach. Like you will first do the cause and effect analysis, so you will get a study framework. So because the challenge I had to set up the study framework, the elements, how to choose, because of you need to refer many journals for that. So it's just one of the challenge I had. Other than that, so if you are choosing a skill project, is a good option if you have opportunity in your organization. So if you are able to execute that projects by yourself, because you should take a big role on that, and it's easy to do it. I think over to Anjana.
Thank you so much, Siraj, for sharing the challenges that you had. I hope our participants from the MBA batch got a fair insight into management skills project, what you have to be mindful of when you're committing to that, and the challenges that you might face based on the experiences which Amila and Siraj shared. So let's move on to the third and the final project type, which is management field project. Ravi, all the questions will be directed to you. In the introduction part, you explained how you pick this area for your project under the management field. Can you explain to me what sort of challenges did you come across after identifying this area?
Anjana, actually, major challenges were not there, because this is just a proposal. You're not going to implement it.
Right.
You have to get it signed by one of your supervisor, like your direct manager or any director of your organization. That will be enough, I think. You can verify the same information with the PIM management. And you have to keep in mind that you need to have the access to data analysis. You have to extract a lot of data where you have to show the issue, which is important to solve in the organization. And it should be convincing with the management of PIM, Board of Panelists. And somehow we face very difficult time when it's come to time management. This was something difficult for us while working. You have to balance your family life. You have to focus on also other subjects, because we were having different subjects. In the same time, we had to choose one more subject, which is we choose like productivity and quality as an extra subject, because this field project is only 3/4 of what Amila said that earlier about the skills project.
Right.
Literature review was another challenge. You have to read a lot of articles. You have to provide citations, need to write literature review for all drivers in the selected study framework. And advantage is that no approval required. As I mentioned earlier, project implementation don't have that part. So that's going to be a little bit easy for the students. And commitment is very important. Okay, although I knew that this project is on my hand, what I have to say is like this Ranil said that earlier, if you're thinking of doing this project, start from today, because it takes a lot of time. Yeah, over to you, Anjana.
Right. Thank you for sharing that insight, Ravi. That gives me sort of another question. Maybe you touched upon this earlier when you were introducing the project as well. But if you could briefly sort of reiterate to our participants, what are the things you should be mindful of if you're selecting a management field project?
Yeah, you have to be mindful of to have an understanding of the subject which you're going to select as a field project. Like if you're in IT background, you have to have a proper understanding, banking or HR, whatever same field, you should touch the same area so that you can easily implement the project. The other one is like you have to begin with like somehow end in mind, should be able to accomplish this project. You cannot go back and start all over again. You can do some changes within the project, but you cannot come back, and you don't have the time to do that one, to start a new project. And also the project goal should match, so that you can you need to have a proper goal so that you can name the project. Then identify all those people who need to be involved in the organization, because somehow you have to meet the co-workers or team members, and you have to work with them and identify those issues and take actions so that the effectiveness of the project will be live. And also time, you have to schedule at least 2 hours a day. This is my advice to all participants. And also the budget, you have to make sure that, because the project should link directly to the bottom line of the P&L. So make sure that you have a good understanding of the budget planning, and use always all those tools, like whatever you are learning. And this all the subjects matters for this final project. The outcome should be taking all together all the subjects that you learned through the MBA. And for myself, what I did is like I used the professor's 7G framework as a HR book. So it was very helpful, and the professor was happy about it. So maybe you can influence that way. And read a lot of, you have to read a lot of articles. You have to get it together, because sometimes you read it and when you cite it, some ideas not matching. So you have to go through a lot of articles and talk to the people and get some ideas from the same organization, talk to any experts in the field. So then also the final recommendation is, don't be afraid to ask questions, meet people around you, and group members also support each other in your group. Like what we did is, like our group, we support each other. Even the PIM group led by Samantha, we had a good coordination among each other.
Right. Excellent. Thank you so much, Ravi, for sharing this insights. I hope it was useful. The next question I would like to pose it to our participants from the current MBA batches. If you all could make an attempt. Now, we went through these 3 types of projects. I just wanted to get a feel, based on the information shared, which project type sort of became your favorite, or which project type do you think you might make an attempt? Okay, we've got one who had already planned for management skills project. How about the others? Okay, management field project. I'll keep the slide on for a few more seconds. This would help us to gauge how the CPD committee and the rest of the PIMA committees could help you all going forward in your journey of getting this project completed. Very good. I see one entrepreneur.
Anjana,
also. Yes.
Anjana, just in case people who came late into the session, maybe you can guide them how to go to the site and how to.
Sure. Thank you for reminding me, Samantha. You need to type this URL, www.ahaslides.com/CPD01. Then the questions will pop up. This is the second question in our session. You would see the first question if this is the first time that you're logging in. I would really encourage everybody to attend. I see 38 participants, at least 30 is from the batch. So this would help us to sort of get an understanding the split between the 3 projects and how we could plan out certain events for you to help you all out. While you're making an attempt, I would encourage you all to continue. Whoever did not attempt, we'll move on to the next section in our webinar today, which is another important aspect which you all have to be mindful of, which is tips for formatting and referencing. I would like to call upon Samantha, who would take you all through on these contents. Over to you, Samantha.
Thank you, Anjana. I hope all of you can hear me clearly.
Yes,
Anjana, you'll be navigating the slides?
Yes, I will. I'll move on to the first slide. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. I know this is a very painful area for all in terms of formatting and referencing. Even when we came to the end of submitting the final project, we had concerns. So on terms of formatting, what I would like to stress here, I'm also aware of the time. When you're preparing the proposal, please at first read through the guidelines given by PIM and the 6th edition. Do not refer previous editions. If you take 2015 batch, their projects and proposals were done based on the 5th edition. So certain things have changed, certain guidelines have changed. So please prefer the 6th edition. And if you look at skills projects, it's covered on the page 59 to 61. Entrepreneurship project is covered under page 68 to 70. And field projects covered under page 108 to 111. So this should be your first point of reference when you're trying to think of how to develop your proposal. Then in parallel, just look at the sample proposals. I've been told that Dr. AKL has shared sample proposals with you for each of these 3 project types. Once you get that guideline, then take the sample and map it to see, okay, what should we come under background? What should come under business case? So you get that idea before you start actually developing. Again, I need to stress all the sample projects might have been done, proposals might be developed based on a previous edition. So always refer to the 6th edition. Same for formatting guidelines. You have to refer to page 2 to 9. The current format, you have the cover page, the title, approval page, declaration at the first 4 pages of your proposal. Unlike, I think in the previous edition, the approval page was at the end. So be mindful of that. And the headings, do not change to your own headings. The guidelines will say the first one should be background. The second heading should be on the, say for entrepreneurship. Second is give a brief on the business case. For field study, it's on the significance. So when you say business case, don't go and put value proposition there. So when they've asked for introduction, don't say background. So all these matter, especially when they mark the proposal. So be mindful that for that, all pictures, figures, tables, everything has to be numbered. And there should be a title for each of any figure or any picture including in your proposal, whether it's a financials, whether it's a business case, or any marketing analysis. Then, of course, it's important to look at the line and paragraph spacing. Page numbers, the first 4, the cover, title page, approval page, and declaration will have Roman simple italic numbers, whereas then table of contents onwards will have normal numeric numbers 1 to 10, 1 onwards. So that is important. And of course, one key thing is referencing is very important, which I cover in the next 2 slides. Why we want to emphasize on formatting and referencing is because this carries marks. You may have good content, but they will also look at formatting and referencing because this is academic. They they want to see the discipline of that you have put in from all your learnings from the last few months and to this final stage, that you actually, as academic, you're following all these guidelines. Then the next one's Anjana, you can go.
Yes, I'm on the referencing now.
Referencing, right.
Yes.
Again, adhere to the PIM guidelines, page 10 to 22. And the guideline says use APA referencing style. So one quick tip which I want to share is from day one, even from proposal stage, use the Microsoft Word APA referencing tool, which you can find under References tab. Don't go and keep referencing in Excel. It is time consuming, and when you're trying to do the proposal or the final project, it becomes very cumbersome to manage, and then there's a lot of errors in your reference tab, which will result in loss of marks. So we have the Journal Publishing and Academic Affairs have prepared a small Word document, a guideline on referencing, specifically for all the participants here. Anjana will share that in due course after the session. So I won't take too much time on what this, how to do the referencing. Basically, this tool helps you, the tab helps you insert citation, build and manage source details, insert and update references, sections, and select the document style. So this is a very useful tool in Word, which you can use as it is. And of course, always remember to include the source under the table, the figure, the diagram picture, whether it's author developed or adopted by some author. Ensure that you specify all the sources. It is very important. And of course, you can include citation, middle of the sentence, or at the end. All these guidelines we have provided in the guideline as well. But this is just a quick tips. The key things you need to be mindful of referencing, because all the professors and Dr. AKL is very particular. Dr. Samantha is very particular about referencing and all everything, and of course labeling and formatting. So if we can go to the next one. Okay, and another tip is on the content. How do you write your paragraphs? There's something concept called topic sentence, which is basically give the reader with the first sentence what the paragraph following will be all about. So the rule of thumb is, if you're talking about performance indicators, you want to talk about performance indicators in that paragraph, just only talk about performance indicators. Don't bring in about something about HR process or a process, any process. You're talking about indicators, talk about indicators. But you should have a catchy beginning sentence. And another important thing is to keep the consistent length of paragraphs. Maximum should be 7 to 8 sentences in a paragraph. So in your document, proposal document, you shouldn't have a case where you have a paragraph of 2 sentences and another paragraph of 10, another 5. It has to be consistent. So this they also look at. And of course, very importantly, spell and grammar check. I know we all expect Word to do this for us. Sometimes Word fails. So just before you do the final upload, please check on spells and grammar. Our academics, our professors are very particular about this. I don't have to tell you this, I guess. From your experience in the assignments, you would know. Then, of course, Turnitin. All of you will probably refer to Emerald Insight to get your articles and journals for reference. Ensure that you reword the content, because most of you, if you're looking at a business case, looking at something called a business case or a market analysis or HR process, you will look at the same sort of documents, the whole batch. So ensure you reword, so your Turnitin score is very less. Turnitin score is used, also they review this when they're marking your proposals or your project. So just be mindful of that. So this is in brief what we wanted to say on the formatting and referencing. If you do have any questions or you want some further input, just let us know. We will share the guidelines we have prepared, the committee, which we have prepared specifically for you, the new batch. You can have a look at that as well. Finally, we would like to invite all of you to contribute to our PIMA UAE journal. The first electronic format to be published in June 2021. I know all of you are very busy with your proposal and project, but I'm sure you would have already submitted assignments which have scored A or A+, which you can actually convert and they contribute to the PIMA journal. This readership is wide, not only in UAE, it's worldwide. We also share certain articles with the Sri Lanka chapter as well, PIM as well. So it's a great opportunity for you, and please do contribute to the journal. So these are the timelines. We will of course share a flyer going forward. So that's it from our end and the subcommittee. Anjana, over to you.
Thank you so much, Samantha, for taking members through the key areas to consider, because this is one area that many sort of lose marks on. So make sure that you take into account all advice that Samantha shared as well, to make sure that your proposals as well as the project is successful. Moving on to the last slide or the area topic we wanted to touch upon. It is, as I mentioned at the beginning, PIMA UAE, the different subcommittees are here and working out our way, different ways how we could support you in your journey of becoming an MBA. So there is an initiative from our Entrepreneurial Affairs Subcommittee in order to specifically help and guide the students who are on the entrepreneurial skills projects. So I would like to call upon Ranil to quickly take you all through what this initiative is about. Ranil, over to you.
Thank you, Anjana. Hi, guys, again. I was super excited and very happy to see that there were 3 proposals for the entrepreneurial projects. I kind of had this discussion with Mahesh and Nalaka before from the 2015 batch, and I know so there are some of other non-UAE participants in this as well. So what we are going to do as the Entrepreneurial Affairs Subcommittee is we socialized our idea as a part of our additional scope, other than promoting our entrepreneurial prospects to lock in investments between Sri Lanka and UAE as MBAs and alumni. I socialized the idea. We had a chat with Dr. Travis Pereira and Dr. Gayan and Dr. AKL, who are basically the key 3 people who are handling the entrepreneurial affairs related final projects part of the MBA finalizations, to see how far we can further engage with you guys. So guys, if you have felt a bit worried or concerned after me and Charitha explained how are the challenges and how would be the journey together, please be assured that when we did it, we had no clue whatsoever. We only had what the faculty members were saying, and we were away from home, and we had no guidelines, and we had no link to the Genesis also. The only good thing we had was that we were able to travel a couple of times during our final year, so that we were basically facing our projects, especially the ones who were doing the projects back home, were able to travel and all. So I saw a question there as well about the pandemic and how we cannot travel and the restrictions will apply and all that. So I'm going to give you a bit of a happy news that we've basically mutually agreed with the PIM faculty that we would the Entrepreneurial Affairs Subcommittee would act as the PIM Genesis's representation for the international students out of Dubai. So that can cover Qatar, that can cover Oman, and also obviously our UAE colleagues who are the entrepreneurial final project MBA aspirants, to take them through the journey. It doesn't mean that we're going to write your project proposal. It doesn't mean that we're going to come and implement your project. But all the guidance and the assistance you require in each of your phases, because as I mentioned, proposal submission is just the first step of a long journey which you will do. And when you embark on this journey, once you get your MBA graduation certificate and the convocation, you're not going to stop this company and go. look like Charitha, look about Charitha. Charitha's main income is coming from this guy. I mean, we can't catch him now in UAE because he's so busy with his business. And I am happily continuing my business back home, and I've got staff there, and I'm so proudly continuing that business. So it's a continuous journey, and you will continue to cherish what you did with MBA, and then the genesis part of what the coordination, the guidance which is typically offered by PIM Genesis Colombo, the faculty, will be hopefully be replicated by us as we have a team of very highly qualified and experienced entrepreneurial MBA final project owners who have got merit passes, etc., who would be able to guide you guys through in each of those processes. So whether it's an incorporation in Sri Lanka, whether it's an incorporation in the UAE, I mean, Charitha was explaining that it might take investment and this and that, but if you look at the radio advertisements, I heard it today morning, Ajman free zone to incorporate a company is less than 24 hours guaranteed. And you can do a service or a product company within that, and it costs you 8,000 bucks. That's it. End of story. You get to your trade license, visas, virtual office, everything done. Because due to the pandemic, things have got cheaper and very cheap. Believe me, it wouldn't have been even imaginable at the time we, and especially Charitha, was doing the cooperation in UAE 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So things have got cheaper, things have got more efficient, and things have got virtually possible. Virtually means literally like this. You don't necessarily have to go to Sri Lanka to do your incorporation. Believe me, there is a way around it. We can use the consulate to do your power of attorney. You can get it certified to your brother, cousin, brother-in-law, whoever. Sort it out. We have colleagues who in Colombo who works as company incorporation guys. They will sort it out for you with your name, approvals, registrations, everything. So all of these pieces around that can be done, and then we will be, from the entrepreneurial affairs subcommittee, we will be carrying you guys together in each of those chapters and phases as continuation of this particular session in your next steps as well. So we will be continuously engaged with you, and we'll come through Mahesh. And Mahesh, please please feel free to share our details so that they can reach us out bilaterally, and we will have a formal approach in a proposal format shared with you once the faculty has signed off in it officially through a MOU, which we are expecting to be done very soon.
Right. Thank you, Ranil. I think would be very good news to the students who would be opting for the entrepreneurial skills project. And at the same time, we are looking at how best as the PIMA alumni, we could support the students who are opting for the other two types of the projects. That is why the next few slides are going to be key. Please attempt and give your feedback in terms of what additional support we'll be able to provide you, or what can be of help to you in order to complete your projects, especially looking at the management skills and the field projects, because entrepreneurs skills project would be handled by the local, the Genesis. So please give your feedback to us. That is going to be very important. There are three questions in terms of how we could help, and also your feedback of this particular session. Did it meet your expectations based on the information we have shared? I would really like all of you all to attempt these questions by going to this site, ahaslides.com/CPD01, because this we'll take back and reassess as a group to see how best we could come back with some suggestions for you all to make sure that you all also complete your MBA program successfully and become alumni members. So with the interest of time, I guess I'll move into the last. Thank you so much for everybody joining this particular webinar. Special thanks goes to all of our panelists who spend their valuable time with us, sharing their experience, and also to make sure that you all take away the challenges they face so that you could do a successful rollout of your projects and completing your MBA. And at the same time, I would like to thank the CPD committee, as well as Damit, who is our president, and also all the alumni members of PIMA UAE for the support that they have extended to make this CPD possible. So thank you very much, everybody. And I hope you all found this useful. And do keep in touch, give your feedback so that we could continue this discussion in a different session. I hope all of you all will have a lovely evening. Thank you again.